Hey guys, so today I wanted to show you my go-to brushes, and I have them right here in this little container. And I know there are lots, but basically I'm going to be showing you kind of like my favorite brushes for every single category, like what I use for foundation, for eyeshadow, for blending, for blush, every single category. I'm going to be showing you my go-to brush, and there are a few categories where I actually have like more than one to show you just because I have like a few favorites. So yeah, I'm going to try not to talk about them too much because or else this video is going to be like a half an hour. So yeah, let's get into it. So I'm going to go in like the order that I use them. So the first thing that I do after I apply my primer is actually to use a color corrector under my eyes. I like using like the NYX Orange Concealer, and I use this brush right here to apply it. This is a Real Techniques brush, and the writing came off, but I think it's called like a pointed foundation brush, something like that. I'll have all the names and everything written in the blog post that goes with this video. As I always say, if you're watching this on YouTube, the link to the blog post will be in the description box. So head over to there if you want to see like a list of all these brushes with a link to where you can get them. But basically this is like a little like flat synthetic brush, and I just use it because the concealer is like in a little pot, and I hate putting my finger in those because it gets like under my nail, which really bothers me. So I just use this to get the product and apply it here, but then I do blend it out with my fingers. So the next thing I do is apply foundation, and my go-to brush ever since I got it is this one right here. This is the Sigma 3D HD Kabuki brush, and I really love it. I used to always use like the Real Techniques buffing brush, I think it's called, and that one is really great too, but I just really love the shape of this one because this little angle really allows me to kind of just get into like those hard to reach places like around my nose or just like here near my eyes, and it gets like in between my eyebrows as well. So yeah, I just think it applies my foundation really nicely. It really makes it look very like smooth and natural, doesn't leave any streaks, and yeah, I really love this brush. So the next thing isn't a makeup brush, but it's a makeup tool, so I thought I would show you guys because it's what I use for my concealer. Once I apply the concealer, I like to blend it out with this little sponge right here. This is my favorite sponge. This is from a brand called Be Yourself, Be Beautiful, and I just love it. It's so soft, and I think it blends out my concealer really well. I've tried the Real Techniques sponge and a few other ones, and this one is just my favorite. So to set that concealer under my eyes, I like using this brush right here, and this is the E.L.F small tapered brush, and I think it's just such a perfect shape and size to get right under the eyes right here. I really like it to set my concealer, to just put a little bit of powder and apply it right there. I only use it under my eyes. For the rest of my face, I use a different powder brush, which I'm about to show you. So I actually have two powder brushes that I really like, and this is the one that I use most often because I like to use my Rimmel Stay Matte, which is like a pressed powder, and I feel like this one is better to just get that and just pat it on my face like this. I really like this brush. It's like an amazing brush. Like, this is probably one of my favorite brushes that I own. This is the E.L.F Powder brush, and yeah, I just love how flat it is because it really allows me to kind of just pat my powder on as opposed to kind of swirling it around, I guess. And yeah, I really love this, really recommend it, and it's only like $3. So this one right here I actually use if I'm using a loose powder. I feel like this one is just better to get that loose powder and apply, because I feel like with a loose powder you can kind of get a really heavy application, like depending on the brush you use, and I feel like with this one it allows me to not get too much product so that it's not like super thick and cakey. So yeah, this one is from Beauty Professional, and it's their Flawless Powder Brush, and I've said this a million times before, but this is like such a soft brush. It's amazing. So after setting my whole face with powder, I like to start on my eyes, and the shadow brushes that I usually use are these right here. I have a couple of each. This one is the Sigma Eye Shading E55 brush, and this is just the E.L.F like eyeshadow brush. This one is definitely more expensive. This one is only $1. I totally recommend these. They're really good. I have a bunch of them. This one I only have because it came in a kit. But if I were to recommend to get one, I would just tell you to get this one because, I mean, it's just as good and so much cheaper. Although I do have to say that this one is a little bit bigger, which I really like because I feel like that can be really helpful sometimes. So this is another eyeshadow brush. This one is from Sephora. It's their Large Shadow 25 brush. I think that's what it's called. It's what's written here. But basically, this is a synthetic, like, flat eyeshadow brush, and I probably should have cleaned it before showing you guys because it's really dirty right now. But basically, I use this brush to apply, like, cream eyeshadows or, like, the Makeup Geek foiled eyeshadows. Basically, any shadows that are just really creamy, especially, like, the shimmery ones. This is amazing to apply it. I love using this because I feel like I still get really good like color payoff. Like it doesn't remove the product. Because you know like sometimes when you use like a cream shadow or like the Makeup Geek foiled ones, and if you use a normal eyeshadow brush, sometimes it doesn't come off as intense as if you were like to swatch it or something. I feel like this makes it apply really, really intense, really beautiful, and yeah, I love it for that. So for blending, I usually use these two right here. I have a big fluffy brush and a smaller one. This one is from BH Cosmetics, and I think it's just called like a blending brush or something like that. I'll have it linked below as well. But I really, really love this brush. It's such a big, nice, and fluffy brush. So that's kind of like what I use to like apply my transition color. Sometimes a crease color if I really want that kind of blown out look. And yeah, I love this brush, and it's super affordable. I think with shipping, I paid like $7. It's really, really nice, very affordable, and also definitely recommend this. So the other one is from Sigma, and it's their Blending E25 brush, and I like to use this one to apply colors in the crease and sometimes like the outer V as well, and I think it's such a great brush for that. I still haven't found like a dupe for this, like a cheaper alternative. So I just stick to this one. I think it does a great job, and I think it's worth the money. I think it's like $14. I have two of these because I really like it, and the other one came in a kit as well. And yeah, I just think it does a really, really great job of like applying the color just to the crease so that I don't get it like everywhere else, and it also helps to blend that out. So to apply eyeshadow on the lower lash line, I actually love using this brush right here. This is from E.L.F. It's their blending eye brush, and I actually think this is supposed to be kind of like a crease brush. It definitely works for that as well. I've tried it. But I've been loving it to like apply shadow on my lower lash line. I used to use like pencil brushes, but I feel like this gives a more blown out look, which I really, really like. And this is like from their really cheap range, so I think it's like $1 or something like that. So yeah, really affordable. I actually haven't seen it in a while, like when I go to their store or look online. I don't know if I just haven't been paying attention or if they don't have it anymore, which would suck because I think it's a really, really great brush. So I still do use a pencil brush, and it's this one right here, and I actually use it to apply like my inner corner highlight, and this one is from Beauty Professional. It's their Smoky liner brush. And yeah, I mean, it's a pencil brush. There's not that much to say about it, but I just think it does a really great job. It is synthetic, so I feel like it gets those shimmery shades really well and applies them really nicely on my inner corners. So the last brush for like the eye area is this one right here, which basically looks like an eyeshadow brush, but it's a bit smaller. I don't know if you guys can tell. I'll be doing close-ups of all of these so you guys will be able to see them better, but it's kind of like a tiny version of like an eyeshadow brush. And I find that this works really well to apply my like brow highlights, like on my brow bone. Because it's tiny, it gets right in there, and yeah, I just really love it. I actually don't know the brand because there's nothing on it. I think this used to be my sister's at some point, and then like I either got it from her without her knowing, or she gave it to me, I don't remember. But yeah, basically any like eyeshadow brush I think would work really well, especially if you find one that's like really, really small. So this brush right here I actually use for two things. Basically I use it for concealer, for cleaning things up. So the things I use it for are like my eyebrows. I don't do it all the time because I'm kind of lazy, but when I'm in the mood I will go around my eyebrows with like sometimes a concealer, but I really like using the NYX like Wonder Brow Pencil thing, which basically feels like a concealer in a stick. But yeah, I'll sometimes like trace around my eyebrows with that, and then I'll use this to kind of like blend it out. And then I also like to use this to like fix my lipstick with concealer. Like if it's not like a perfect line, I'll take a little bit of concealer on this and then just kind of like perfect the lines. And this actually isn't a makeup brush. This is a paintbrush. It came in a set that I got a long time ago from Michaels with just a bunch of paintbrushes. I actually looked on their website recently and they still have the set, so I'll link it below. And yeah, it's number 8 if you're wondering, and I don't even know the brand. Well, you guys will be able to see the brand when I link it. But yeah, I just think that it's really nice. It's like very flat and straight at the top, so I just think it works really well for like, you know, like kind of fixing things with concealer. So this brush right here is a fan brush from E.L.F, and it's actually really old and the quality isn't that great. It doesn't look the best. But I actually use this to remove any fallout, like from my eyeshadow. Like I'll just swipe it under my eyes and it totally gets rid of any fallout that might have happened while I was doing my eye makeup. And yeah, I don't think this needs to be a brush that's like an amazing quality because this works fine. Like I just sweep it under my eyes. It's not like I'm using it to apply a highlight or anything like that. It's really just to remove that fallout under my eyes. And this works really, really well, so I recommend it. I think it's like $1. So after my eyes are done and my eyebrows and all of that, I move on to bronzer. And the brush that I've been using for a long time and absolutely love is this one right here, which is the E.L.F Complexion Brush. I love this brush so much to bronze. I think it's a perfect size and shape, and it just blends out my bronzer really, really well. I use it like to bronze like my cheeks a bit. I use it down here like that. Use it on my forehead, basically just bronze everything with this, and yeah, love it. So for contour, I wanted to show you guys two, and that's because this one right here was my go-to for a really, really long time. This is the Real Techniques contour brush, and I think it does an amazing job for contour. Like the shape really allows you to get in the hollows right here under your cheekbones, and it does blend out really, really well. But lately, I've actually been using this one more. This is the E.L.F Mineral Powder Brush. And I actually got this a long time ago to apply blush, but I kind of didn't really like it for that, so it was just like sitting with my other brushes. And then about like, I think over like a month ago, I decided to use it to contour, and I really, really love it. I've been using it since. I haven't used my other one ever since I started using this one, because I just feel like this one's just really easy. Like this one, I feel like you could get a sharper contour, so if that's what you're going for, then I would recommend this one. But this one right here, I feel like gives you a very nice kind of subtle, like very blended out contour, which I prefer, and it's quicker too, so I really, really love that. Like I apply it right here and then quickly I just go like that and it's all blended out. Seriously, it's amazing to contour with this. So speaking of contour, I wanted to show you guys this brush right here, even though it's new, so I can't really call it my go-to brush, but this is the E.L.F contour brush. And I recently picked it up because I thought it would be cool, like if I wanted to contour my nose, I feel like this would work perfectly. I'm not really like the kind of person that contours their nose. I'm just way too lazy and I kind of don't even really know how to do it, to be honest. But I thought I could, you know, try, and I felt like this would be the perfect brush for that. I tried it out once and I did seem to like it, although I was a bit scared because I was just worried that it would like be super obvious. So I definitely have to play around with it a bit more, but I just thought I would include it because if I were to contour my nose, then this would be the brush that I would go for. So this is my go-to blush brush. This is from Beauty Professional and it's their contour cheek brush, and this is actually a travel size, but I love it for blush so much. I would actually like to get a full size of this if they have it. I'm not sure if they do. But yeah, I think that this is such a great size to apply blush like on the cheeks, and I love brushes like this that have like this angled shape for blush. I think those are like the best kinds to apply blush, at least in my opinion. And yeah, I really, really love this one. It's super soft, blends out my blush really well, and I love it. So lastly, my highlight brush is this one right here. And this is the Sigma Tapered Highlighter F35 brush. And this one's actually from the Nightlife collection that they partnered up with Camila Coelho to create. And yeah, but they have like the regular one as well. I've been loving this brush so much to apply my highlight. I feel like it applies it so well because like the product still comes off really nice and intense. Because I feel like with some brushes, like I could be using a good highlighter, but it just won't show up on my face depending on the brush. And this one, I feel like it really like lets the product like show up, but doesn't let it look like a line of highlighter, you know? Like it kind of just applies it well, but blends it out a little bit too, if that makes sense. I actually got this one in a kit with a few other brushes, like one of those eyeshadow brushes that I showed you guys, and it also comes with one of like those crease brushes, like the E25, I think, and then a blush brush and something else, I don't remember. But if you just wanted one like this, then I think this is like $24, which, you know, is a little bit pricey, but I do think it's a really, really good brush. So those are all my go-to brushes. Hopefully this video isn't like super, super long. But yeah, I hope this video was helpful and that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And also don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, bye!